Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're getting into something super important for, well, anyone thinking about a trip to Europe. We're talking about the Schengen Area. You know, that amazing zone of 27 countries where, theoretically, borders just disappear for travelers. But that ease of travel, it can sometimes hide some pretty strict rules, especially if you're planning a longer stay. So today, we're diving deep into that exact spot where easy movement meets, well, the very firm line of the 9180-day rule. Our sources really highlight some frankly surprising and pretty stressful outcomes for folks who accidentally overstay. It's called an accidental overstay. But the consequences, not so accidental.
Yeah, our goal here is pretty straightforward. Cut through the confusion.
Yep.
You want to shed light on what this rule really means and how it plays out in the real world.
Yeah.
Basically making sure you're clued in before your next big European adventure.
Okay, so the main hang-up for travelers seems to be this rolling 180-day window. It gets mixed up with like a fixed 6-month block or something.
Yeah.
A lot of people think, oh, I'll stay 90 days, pop over to London for a weekend, then come back for another 90.
Exactly, and that's just flat out wrong.
It's a really common mistake, isn't it?
It is. The way it actually works is a bit more complex. It's not about fixed periods. It's a constantly moving calculation. Think of it this way. On any day you are in the Schengen zone, you need to look back over the previous 180 days. And within that 180-day period, your total time spent inside the Schengen area cannot be more than 90 days.
Wow. Okay, so every single day is like a new calculation.
Pretty much. It keeps rolling. That's why those online Schengen calculators are so useful. Honestly, trying to track it manually is prone to error. I definitely recommend using one.
That calculation detail alone is probably news to many people. So let's say someone messes up, they miscalculate, maybe their flight gets canceled, whatever. What happens right then and there at the airport when they try to leave?
Okay, so the most immediate thing, especially for maybe just a few days over, is likely a fine. These vary quite a bit. Could be a few €100, could be over 1,000. It really depends on the country. Spain might have a standard rate, Germany could be tougher, and of course, how long you overstayed. And usually you have to pay it right there, on the spot.
Pay on the spot. Ouch. But it's not just about the money, is it? What else happens? Sounds pretty intense for an accident. Is there any wiggle room?
Well, sometimes maybe, for a really good reason with solid proof, like a documented medical emergency, but generally, the rules are pretty strict. Your passport gets flagged in the system, so yeah, you're almost certainly getting pulled aside by border control.
Okay, so detention and questioning.
Definitely questioning. It can be intimidating. You might miss your flight, and even if it's minor, it leaves a record. If the overstay is more significant, they might issue a formal voluntary departure notice. Or, worst case for a serious violation, it could escalate to deportation. That's a very serious mark.
Wow. Okay, deportation is serious. So beyond those immediate airport headaches, what are the longer-term ripples? Does this mistake kind of follow you around?
Oh, absolutely. The biggest long-term risk is a re-entry ban. We're talking typically 1 to 5 years where you cannot enter any of the Schengen countries. This ban gets logged in the Schengen Information System, the SIS, which all member countries share. So it's a blanket ban.
A ban from all 27 countries? And even if you avoid that formal ban, just the fact you overstayed is recorded, right?
Exactly. And that record can cause major problems down the line if you ever apply for any kind of visa later on. Student visa, work visa, even just a long-stay tourist visa for one specific country. Your application gets extra scrutiny, and your chances of being denied go way up.
That makes sense. And does it stop at Europe's borders?
Increasingly, no. That's a crucial point. Major countries like the UK, Canada, Australia, New Zealand, they share more and more immigration data. So an overstay violation in Europe could absolutely pop up as a red flag if you apply for a visa elsewhere. Many applications specifically ask if you've ever violated visa terms anywhere in the world.
It's like a global travel record hit. Okay, so knowing all that, if someone listening realizes, oh no, I think I might have accidentally overstayed, what's the immediate advice? What should they do?
Right. First thing, don't try to hide it or sneak out. The entry-exit systems are mostly digital now. They have the dates. Trying to be sneaky usually just makes things much worse if you get caught. Honesty is the way to go.
Okay, honesty first. What if the overstay really was unavoidable? Like a documented medical issue or maybe a major airline strike?
Gather every single piece of evidence. Doctor's letters, hospital bills, official airline cancellation notices, maybe even police reports if relevant. That documentation is your absolute best defense, maybe your only defense.
And should you wait until you get to the airport?
Probably not the best idea. Being proactive is better. Consider contacting the local immigration authorities before you try to leave. The Ausländerbehörde in Germany, the Oficina de Extranjeros in Spain, whatever the local equivalent is. Go to them, explain the situation calmly, show your proof. They might grant a short extension or give you some kind of official note explaining the circumstances. It's not guaranteed, but it's worth trying.
What about the U.S. Embassy? Can they help?
They can offer support. They can't make the Schengen country change its laws or waive a fine, obviously. But they can give advice, provide lists of local lawyers who understand immigration law, and step in if you feel you're being treated unfairly by the authorities. So definitely keep them in mind.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what's the big takeaway for everyone listening? This deep dive really shows that even though travel within Schengen feels easy, that visa-free access comes with very specific, very strict rules, and breaking them, even by accident, well, it's treated seriously.
That's the core message. A tiny overstay, maybe a day or two, with a really good provable reason. You might get away with a warning or a small fine. Maybe. But anything more than that, or without solid proof, and you're looking at real risks. Hefty fines, that multi-year re-entry ban, and a black mark on your travel history that could have global reach.
It really makes you think, especially if you're planning multiple trips or a longer stay. Mastering this 9180 rule is just essential. What detail out of all this strikes you as the most commonly overlooked or surprising part?
For me, it's probably just how interconnected things are becoming globally. That an issue in Spain could potentially affect your visa application for, say, Canada years later. It really highlights the need to be careful everywhere. And it does make you wonder, doesn't it? How many other travel rules or privileges seem simple on the surface, but actually have these complex, strict regulations sitting just underneath?
That is a really provocative thought to end on. Something for all of us travelers to consider. Use this information. Plan those trips carefully, stay informed, and we'll catch you on the next deep dive.